All right, hello business students. I'm Professor Nance. Welcome to our class, Business 100, Introduction to Business, online through Cañada College this semester. This is a 6-week, purely online, accelerated class covering the content in Business 100, very similar to a summer school session just at the end of spring. I want to give you a quick kind of walk around tour of the class to help you get a little oriented and to help you get started successfully. And to show you where to find things if you're not already familiar with Canvas. Many of you are, so you'll see some things that are familiar and some that aren't. I'll give you some other tips and tricks and kind of tell you how I operate an online class to help you get started. So this is the home page when you enter in on the web browser. I do ask and require that every student online log in through the web browser at least once a week. The robustness of Canvas online through a computer is way different than any of the mobile apps. So I do recommend that you log in via a computer on a web browser at least once a week. It is a completely different show than what you can access through your phone. And I think as students, you'll see a lot of the nuances that I don't even mention here. This is the homepage when you enter in the class, if you choose to log in through your dashboard and enter in. On the right are all of your to-do items and due dates that are coming up. If you click through to these individual items, like this is a discussion post, I right-clicked and did an open a new tab, you'll see the details of the assignment. And do take the time. I'm pretty detail-oriented, so I do tend to get very specific about items. Slow down and make sure you pay attention to the instructions so that you get the most out of the assignment and also get full credit. Such as here, I put a technical note about how to upload an inserted photo versus an attached photo. There's a difference. And my photo usually should show up. That's a trick on me. Anyways, I'll give you an example here, and then you reply within your groups. I'm going to go back to the home page. You can also kind of click these out. You can also view a course calendar, which is a visual representation of the class. I have pre-scheduled but not pre-released everything for the rest of the semester. So you should be able to go in and plan ahead and plan for whatever kind of workload you need to manage. Generally, I release things 2 weeks in advance. Most deadlines, 90% of deadlines are on Sunday at midnight because that's what you guys want. That's not what I want, but that's what you guys want. Except for at the beginning and end of the terms. So at the beginning of the term, we have some very simple introductory assignments that are due Wednesday, one of which, the student mixer photo, you have a requirement to follow up by that following Sunday, which you'll see in there. If we go forward to May, I think it might take a few minutes for it to populate, but yes. But you'll see a lot of the assignments here on the left. This class is seriously just a lot about reading and following your deadlines. A majority of your time for this class should be spent reading your textbook. And yes, that means your textbook is required. I use an older edition of the book called Better Business, 3rd edition. It should be very similar to what you get, except for the black bar here is the instructor edition. I only validate the 3rd edition. I think they're currently on the 5th, but it's a lot more expensive. My students previously have spent like less than $20 on a used copy of this book, but you need to get it fast if you haven't already, since I had this page up in Canvas for a while. There are some copies on loan at the library, but not for a lengthy amount of time, maybe for a couple hours or a couple days at most. You need your own copy, you need it in print, not digitally, and you need it in order to pass this class. Every week I will post announcements on a regular schedule. So I think it's on Mondays for your class. Every Monday I'll post an announcement. Sometimes it may not be till later in the day, so just expect it sometime Monday. But ultimately I always have 2 weeks of work released ahead, so you can always work ahead if you want on your own. The majority of our work is on the modules page here on the left. You'll see the Get Started here with my general welcome message, a link to the syllabus, and the reading schedule. You have a reading log template, which actually I need to fix that, and a sample reading log, which is great to see. An optional student forum in case you wanted to connect with other students. You can also see other students in the people page here on the left. And then here's a summary of your introductory assignments, as well as an optional extra credit to get started. I realize many people may not be on social media, so if this relates for you, fine. If not, there's another extra credit at the end of the class for those of you who are not. Then you'll see, like, every module will be a different chapter. You'll have some notes, but remember these notes are just my notes. They're not actually reading the chapter, so you need to purchase your textbook on your own. I have some of the slides that are provided for you to thumb through. Again, not enough content there. It doesn't cover everything in the book. And a majority of this class, because it's so much about reading, you have periodic or regular assignments on reading logs. And you can read more about that here. They're credit, no credit, 3 points each. I dropped 2 out of the 16 for the 16 chapters that were here. So if you missed 2 for whatever reason, or if you submit one and didn't do it correctly and I give you an incomplete, you missed 2. So that means you cannot make them up at any point in time. So please don't ask that. Sometimes I give you some links to external sources that are good. And you'll see that I'll release quite a bit of content going forward. And then you'll see a quiz. There's 3 quizzes and 3 exams. So essentially 3 larger modules in this class. I'm going to show you the syllabus and the reading schedule. I highly recommend you click here, download, and print this for your own records. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. All right, so here's the reading schedule. This is a document that really kind of helps you understand the format of the class. So the first module consists of these first 2 parts, chapters 1 through chapter 6. The second module, 7 through 11, and the last module is 12 through 16. On the right, you see, so that's the reading schedule, kind of the order, which is just sequential. I don't require the mini chapters in the book except for the resume assignment, which you'll see later in the class. On the right-hand side, it will tell you that most of the assignments are due Sunday at right before midnight, except for when I actually designate the day. So for instance, those introductory assignments are due on Wednesday at the end of the day. And then at the end, because we end right before Memorial Day weekend, and I need to be able to calculate your grades that Friday, all of your ending assignments are due on 5/23. So you'll see RL stands for reading log. So these chapters are due here by the time we're done with 3. And then you have a quiz. So every module is broken down to an exam and a quiz about midterm. So usually once you get to the halfway point, it triggers a quiz. So you'll see a quiz. And the quizzes are different than the exam. The exam is mostly multiple choice questions, or 50 or 60 questions, and really testing higher level application of the information you're learning in your book. The quizzes break it down to really terminology, because I need you to understand the language of business. So the quizzes will be all about matching. It's a completely different setup than the exam. So do prepare for that. And the quizzes I let you take twice, and it'll record the highest score. The exams is just once. Once it closes, you can view your results for 48 hours online. And after that, if you want to see the results, you have to come in and see me in person. And then you'll see that we have a structure of assignments that are due. Note here that the student mixer does have a peer reply. I am not that big on discussion questions and mandated peer replies. I think they're useless. However, for the introductory part, I think it's kind of interesting, so I put it there. Don't kill me for that. Assignment number 1. Assignment number 2 is, there's 3 parts, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. The assignment number 2 all revolves around a resume, creation, peer review, and finalized resume. Assignment number 1 is an informational interview, so start preparing for that. That's already released and it's due in 2 weeks. Assignment number 3 is thrown in here, which is, I have to look. I forget now. 1 is between 3 and 4 because I reordered them. 1 is the retirement gamble, which relates to chapter 16 and some critical thinking about investment opportunities. And the other one is the SWOT analysis. That's probably number 3. Wow. So you'll see all the information here. I really think it's important for you to print this and save it on your computer for your own use, reading schedule. Then you can spend some time, and I don't want to spend the time here on this video because I think I'll bore you to death, but this is our syllabus for the course. You'll find out the dates of the course, when I'm generally around. I'm full-time at Cañada. I'm mostly available. This is kind of really built around my in-person classes. So I'm here before and after, but ultimately you're online. So I'm willing to meet with you at many times. It just usually requires us to schedule in advance. So contact me through the Canvas inbox via either the computer or via the Canvas app. And that's the best way to get a hold of me. I get back to students really quickly there. I do not accept emails through my work email because I tend to get overwhelmed. Currently right now I have 300 and something unread work emails. So you may not cut through the clutter there, and I prioritize my students. You guys are the most important part of my job. So please only get a hold of me through the Canvas inbox. That's the best way to do it. I'm located at the Cañada College campus in Redwood City, right off 280. There is my work email if you ever need me later on, and my work phone number. I'm always happy to schedule a phone appointment, a video appointment, or an in-person appointment. Just let's schedule in advance. Best way is through the Canvas inbox. You'll see some information here about what my take is on the class, and then you'll see some information here about what curriculum says I have to describe the class as, which is just kind of very plain. We have student learning outcomes, these things that you should be able to do by the time we're done. And this course really is a lot about learning the language of business and the functions of business. So as my statement above says, I'm so excited to teach you about business and how just great it is. And it's such a versatile degree that I really want you to continue on. But most of this class being a survey course, it is all about reading and terminology. So you're going to focus most of your time in those efforts. And I'm going to assess you in a lot of ways around that. And I have a diverse kind of set of assessments for your final grade. Here you can see that a print edition of your book is required. 3rd edition, the 5th edition is very similar, but I can't word for word vouch for it. So it's up to you to get the right version. I don't use any online access codes. It's all a gyp for your money. They just want to steal students' money is what I think. I will not be using it, so don't ask me about any access code or whatever, or class code. I don't use it. I build everything myself. We will cover all the chapters 1 through 16, but not the mini chapters, except for the one related to the resume assignment. But I do encourage you to read those for personal enrichment. One talks a little bit about business law. One talks a little bit about, I think, personal finance. It's kind of interesting. You can read about growth mindset. I do encourage students to download 2 things. The free Canvas app on your phone for students. It is good. It's way better than older learning management system apps like Blackboard and all this other stuff. It's not everything, but it's really good, and you can customize your notification settings to get what you want to see out of the class, so that if I push an email out or an announcement out, or if I send you a specific message, you can get it right away. But you can customize that in notifications under your profile, so you don't get too much. The key is you have to search for San Mateo Community College District when you download the app. You can do it on your phone, on your tablet, whatever you got. The other thing I really recommend is something called Grammarly, and this is a freemium model. So they have a free version and they have a paid model. Personally, I have the paid model, but the free model is good too. I don't require you to purchase anything, but I do strongly push on you in order to develop your writing skills, whether you are a native English speaker and you're just slowly improving your writing as you go along, or whether you're an ESL or ESOL student. Both populations, everybody can learn from what Grammarly does. It is definitely above just a spell checker. It makes recommendations. It really does catch a lot. You could download the app on your computer. You could download what's called an add-in on Microsoft Office, or in Word particularly. You could download an extension in your web browser, like I use Chrome. Did I say you could download it on your phone so that even as you text or as you type an email, it checks. And trust me, it's saved me in many ways. My other resources I like to list are in the library, so you can learn about the Reserve. Our librarians are amazing. And there's a digital scanner there, in case you need to know that for books. Some information about assessments, and everything is kept, of course, online. I do that even in my in-person classes. Make sure you read about the what-if grades. That should have been a hyperlink, but it's not, but you can Google it. Canvas what-if grades let you mock up scores as you go, in case you're getting close to the end and you're like, what if I get a high grade on this? Will it bump me to an A overall in the class? The overall grading scale, note there's no A+ and there's no C-. Those are for reasons outside of my control. I have a variety of assessments. So reading assignments, like the reading logs, reflections, individual assignments. Some things are small group. We have quizzes, we have exams. So it's not all about exam and multiple choice assessments. It's a variety of ways, because I know learners are all different and I need to assess you in different ways. I offer some extra credit. This is a very quick class, so there may not be a lot, but it cannot exceed 5% of your total grade. I take academic integrity very seriously. Do not cheat, and there are ways I can tell, and Canvas does track things for me. So don't go there, or it will be a bad there that we go. Student participation, if you miss an equivalent of 10% of the course, either consecutively or non-consecutively, not turning in enough assignments, not logging in recently to the class, then I have the right to drop you, and I do that for a variety of reasons. Professor participation, I talk about my online or my office hours. I'm always willing to schedule other office hours. The best way to reach me is the Canvas inbox message system. And if it's a quick answer, I usually get on my phone. If it's something simple that I can just boop, boop, boop right back, I usually get back to you really quickly. If it's something that requires me to sit down at a computer, then it probably won't get answered until the next time I'm in the office. So just keep that in mind. But that's still relatively quickly. You can get a hold of me, I promise. Submitting assignments, I'm a big believer. You are an adult. You have to submit your assignments when, where, and how I tell you to do it. You cannot email them in separately. You cannot add them as a comment. It has to be how I say it, when I say it, and where I say it, and in the right file type. So pay attention to that, because if not, it's an instant 0. Makeup policy, there are no makeups unless you have something documented and you can prove it to me within 48 hours. If you don't do that, then you're not going to get a makeup. It's not equitable to everybody else in class if I have one student in my office begging for extra tries when I don't let everybody else have that. So really, if something serious comes up in your life, contact me. We need to know what's going on and help each other out and see what's going on if there is anything I can do for you. But it needs to be documented, and yeah. Drop dates, you can find out more there. I list information about DRC. Sometimes it's DSPS at colleges. The trick, though, is even if you're an online student, you have to be filed with our DRC at Cañada. I don't know why. But if you are DRC, the only way you can get accommodations through me is through a letter from Cañada College, a memo that you can have emailed to me. Other than that, I can't set up your accommodations. I would rather have that now than later, because I'd rather just have it in place in case you needed it, rather than later have to, at the end, put it in for you when you may miss that opportunity early on in the class to use it. SparkPoint is a great place at many of our district colleges, campuses, for financial coaching. They have food pantries. They have like a savings program where they help match funds. It's just really good there. If you have any food insecurity, they could help you with housing insecurity if you're having a hard time with place where you're living. And then we at Cañada have a great tutoring center. It's one of the things that I do love about Cañada, especially in math, but also in writing. So do please come here to get help if you need help with anything. I can't speak highly enough about them. There's also something called Net Tutoring that is embedded within Canvas, so you could take a look at that. They have business tutors, I think in the afternoons most days, but I have to give a little note that I haven't vetted anybody on there, and I'm not sure how well they're doing. It's a newer program, so let me know if you use it. How to log into Canvas, but by the time you see this, you already have. Technical support, burdens on you. You have a tech issue, go get a tech ticket number from calling technical support. You can't just say, I couldn't get on last night, I need an extension. Nope. Accountability, you need to tell me, here's my ticket number, here's the issue, and quite frankly, you need to plan ahead and not do everything up against the back, against a deadline. So it's your responsibility to fix it. Realize you have a school email account, so a lot of your Canvas notifications may go to that if you choose not to do the app. So make sure that you access that on a daily basis, and or just go in there and forward it to an email that you use more often. Totally up to you. All right, download and print. I would save that and print it for your use. I need to wrap it up here. So log in, take a look at all these assignments, go through some of the content, become familiar with the reading log. I'll fix this link here, but here's a sample reading log. And this was done from a recent student who gave me permission to share it. So you'll have an editable MS Word file to do a reading log. And you need to complete your name at the top, the title, the page numbers, the chapter covers, the chapter number, and when it's due. And then in the left column, you write down the page of everywhere that you take a note. These can be in short notes format. This is an area where you kind of connect any thoughts or experiences or questions that you have to the content. And then on the second page, and you need to cover all the chapter content, you, in a summary form, actually kind of explain what you see in your own words as if you're explaining it to somebody else about what you learned. This needs to be robust, and I put this up as an example to show you that this is the level and quality of work that I'm looking for, that a sentence or two for the summary won't cut it. You need to cover the content from the specific chapter, You will not get credit if you don't have the page number, if you don't have sufficient notes covering all the content, and if you don't have thoughts, feelings, well, it used to be feelings, connections, and questions. I don't need feelings. Okay, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. I want to let you go really quickly. So I'm full-time at Cañada. I'm about 10 years into teaching. I'm also returning to school myself to get my doctorate in education because it's something I'm interested in. My personal history is I am a community college student graduate. I grew up in Fremont and I graduated from Cañada College. My parents are both blue-collar workers, and they are still working, unfortunately. Cañada College, then I transferred to San Jose State and got my degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing. When I graduated there, I worked at NASA for a little while in marketing communications for the regional area and also for headquarters. And then after that, I realized that basically without a master's, NASA wouldn't promote me to the higher level work I was already doing at the position that was vacant above me because I didn't have a master's. So I said, see ya, I'm going to go get my master's. I moved overseas to London. I worked for a year in the financial industry in a marketing and sales team and did my degree on nights and weekends. And then part of that program was moving to Thailand for a term and wrapping up my Asia Pacific studies. So my master's is an MBA, a master's in business administration with a concentration in international business. And then I came back and I worked a little bit at a nonprofit, 5 people serving, kind of doing online mentoring for women and minorities in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. Didn't like it so much, bad leadership. So I left. I worked at Stanford just before coming here. At Stanford, I worked in the Overseas Resource Center. They were helping Stanford students apply for these very prestigious fellowships and scholarships called the Rhodes, Marshall, Mitchell, and Fulbright. So I worked with the team helping our Stanford students do that. I'm a big supporter of study abroad. I studied abroad at Cambridge University for a semester. And after that, I really wanted to get into teaching full-time. I started teaching part-time at Ohlone because one of my teachers brought me back after I got my master's. And then I got a full-time gig here at Cañada, and I love it. So I love Redwood City, and I love Cañada. I think it's a good place. All right. That's enough about me. I will learn about you in the student introductions, and you will learn about a small subset of the class in there because you'll have a small group. If you need anything, contact me via the Canvas inbox, which is over here on the left. Notifications. I'm in a test student thing, so it's kind of weird how they do this. It's a mock-up. But if I click on my account, which you will have to upload your Canvas profile photo by Wednesday, you can click on notifications. And apologies for this, like longest video ever. So there's my real picture. If I go to my account and I go to notifications, because I have my phone signed up on the app, I get this right-hand column for all my devices. Normally you just get your email address. But once you start getting notifications, if you think you're getting too much of something and not enough of another, come in here and customize it. My needs are different than your needs, and I have customized this. Like, I don't want to be subscribed to every discussion question and every time somebody posts. That's just too much. So you can have it sent to your email address once a day, on demand, not at all. Push notification on your phone. How much do you want to be interrupted for that? So think about that and customize it there. Sorry, one more thing, right? Dashboard. The dashboard on the home screen here, you should see the graphic that I see. I don't think you see the color tile because I think that's an individual user. And I don't think you see the nickname. So I have a lot of classes. If you're on a computer, you click the 3 dots over your class, you can custom code the color and you could put in a nickname. So I put in a nickname for this class, but I don't think it's a global nickname that goes out to you. So you can go in there and nickname it whatever you want. You can also now move tiles left and right and do whatever you want. All right. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.